Hey guys, continuing my series with Lore Behind the Frame. Today let's cover Sevagoth. Sevagoth obviously seems ghostly, but just what exactly is he? Does he have any ties to lore? He does actually. So he's not an average ghost or poltergeist or whatever you want to call it. He is in truth, without a shadow of a doubt, a revenant. So then just what the heck is a revenant? So despite religious biases that will tell you that revenants are evil spirits, they're not evil spirits actually. They are spirits, or more like they are people who died with unfinished business, more along the lines of revenge or extreme protection or a duty unfulfilled. And then they have the strong desire, the strong will that they can't let go of, and they have to complete this task. So then they do. This is how they're created. But unlike other forms of ghost categorizations, these spirits actually take physical form in our reality. So they'll actually possess their own corpse in order to do the mundane things they have to do on this plane, rather than just moving cups around your kitchen or trying to haunt you. They'll actually come at you in a physical form, kind of like a dragor or a zombie or a vampire. However, unlike a zombie, they're not a soulless rotting corpse walking around. No, this is a spirit inside of that corpse that's walking around, a vengeful, angry spirit inside of this corpse. And it's kind of like you can't even kill this thing because technically it's already dead. So no matter how many times, let's say, you whip its ass, it's just gonna get back up and continue to try to get you if you know it's after you. And theoretically, the lore is that you would you completely destroy their body and then that's it, they'll stop coming back. But that's not really realistic to the lore, because technically they're just a spirit. You didn't destroy the spirit, so it could just jump in another person's body or an inanimate object like a dummy or a puppet or a suit of armor and still come get you, if not just try to get you in spirit form. But then it wouldn't be a revenant if it's in spirit form, because technically the classification is it being inside of a corpse. But my point is, you didn't defeat it. It's not done. It can still keep coming back even if you destroyed the body, which is the entire point of a revenant, that you can't kill them. It will always keep coming back. It will always keep getting back up. There is no defeating this and winning at all. Like, it's just gonna complete its task eventually, because it has undying will, and no matter how many times you defeat it, it's just gonna keep coming. So perhaps now you may be thinking that there's nothing to fear if you didn't wrong the revenant, that he's probably not gonna get you, so you don't have anything to worry about. But that's not really the case, because you have to remember they're full of extreme grief and wrath. Like, they may take out indiscriminately anybody in their way. Like, even if you have nothing to do with it, they just may be so full of pent-up rage that they'll take you out just because you're like in proximity. And even if you're like helping them, they might consider you still in the way, or they might want to do it themselves, so they don't want you to do it because they want to get the revenge kind of thing. So they still may get you. The best thing is to just stay the fuck away from them, honestly. Revenants were extremely feared in the past. Perhaps even in some places today they still may be believed in and feared. And that's one reason why, but they actually have more things in their arsenal that's kind of accidental. Like, they didn't intend this to be the case, but it is the case. And it's that they're kind of like plague bringers, because they are rotting corpses. So even if, like, let's say that a revenant's after you because you did something wrong to them, like you caused their death or whatever, and you didn't go to jail, right? They may come chase you down, and let's say you keep escaping. I mean, you keep like locking the door and running away and whatever, like you're doing parkour and their rotting corpse can't keep up or something, whatever. But you being within proximity of that rotting corpse itself may disease you. It may give you diseases for you smelling that corpse or getting touched by that rotting flesh. One thing I've not really heard anyone explain about revenants, perhaps because they don't know, they're just repeating bits of facts they know, is the lore says that perhaps revenants were witches in life, but no one really explains why. There's two assumptions one could make for this explanation. One is that witches are evil in life and therefore they're reborn as this evil spirit, but this is before Christianity influenced, the world. So witches were seen as a good thing back then in most cultures. So this is not the case here. The second thing is that they were improperly buried, and that's why. But why specifically is a witch improperly buried in this timeline where, witches are regarded as like intelligent elders that you go to for all your problems? So that doesn't really make sense. I believe the reason behind this assumption is because if in life you are a witch, no matter what kind of religion or title you want to give yourself, if you know how to manipulate energy and how to have your will, your desire manifest, you know how to cast spells and such, then that means theoretically when you die you would be a more powerful ghost because you already know how to play the game, while a newbie ghost has to go through the whole learning process. Like, they don't know how to do things, they don't know how to open doors or make an orb. But a witch, however, would right from the get-go. Even if one was just like a newbie, like a Twitter witch or something like that, the fact that they would know how to theoretically do things would put them leaps and bounds in front of someone that they didn't even know that ghosts were real. So this is why a lot of times it's more likely that they're gonna accuse a revenant of being a witch in life because they already had, this is why they're so powerful from the get-go. This is why they're able to manipulate the spirit realm right off the bat. So yes, this is implying that a revenant could, in theory, cast a jinx, a hex, a curse on you, as well as perform things that look like telekinesis. On top of the fact that they are a rotting corpse that can disease you, and they're inside of a physical body that can use tools. They're not just a mindless zombie. They can pick up a sword and hack you to bits or shoot you with a gun, as well as they don't even need to do that because they're a ghost that can, just haunt you. They can slam you around the room. They can pick up knives and throw it at you in an incorporeal form. If they wanted to, they could possess you and make you jump off a building, or possess your loved ones and make them do who knows what. This is a very horrible thing to be facing. Now, with all this context in mind, let's compare it to the frame. So first, let's start with the passive. When your physical body as Sevagoth is beaten, is destroyed, you turn into your ghost form. That's the passive. Perfect. This is why he's a revenant, and you can keep doing this infinitely, which is how a revenant's supposed to be. It's pretty much forever until your will gives in and you stop. But the whole point of you being a revenant in the first place is you have undying will. So it's never gonna stop until you complete your task. In Warframe, you have to take 5 lives before you're able to, harness enough energy to get your body back. There is symbolism here. I don't know if it's accidental or it's on purpose, but let me just play with this for a bit. So in Japanese, the number 4 is the same kanji for death. It's the same looking symbol. That's why if you go to a hospital in Japan, you're not going to get room number 4 anything, because nobody wants to go to number 4 room. Nobody wants to go to the death room in a hospital. That's just playing with taboo right there. So no, there's no room 4. That's just stupid. So the fact that you need to kill 5 people is kind of like symbolic to me, because it's like, it's not 4 people, because 4 is death. To get out of death, you have to get above death. You have to get more than death. 5 is a symbol for adaptation and change and stuff like that. And to change, to be more than death, maybe to be undead, right? That's just my theory. So that's why the number may be 5. Maybe I'm just like thinking too much, but that's what I think. There's just so much with Sevagoth's moves that I don't even know where to start. I'm gonna start with his little meter thing, the well, because like I've talked about in many videos, ghosts try to gather energy to power their tasks, things they're trying to do. Same way you would do if you're like a spell caster, if you're a witch trying to perform some kind of spell. It's the same thing. But it's incorporated here in Warframe because you see the little meter. You see that you have to gather all this energy before you're actually able to do anything. Skipping his first ability for a moment and going to his second one, you plant, it's so, and you plant like a death seed inside of your opponent, and you may think that it's kind of like the whole, like you're getting some kind of necrotic disease from this. No, I don't think that's the case. I think this is more like the witchy aspect of it. You're getting cursed, you're getting marked for death, and this is what's draining your life and may actually be empowering the spirit at the same time, draining your life force kind of thing. So cycling back to his first move, reap, and you're basically reaping what you sowed before. So you mark someone for death, and now this is your moment. Like, you can't even contain yourself, so you jump out of your body and you go attack the person because your physical form would move too slow, so you just project your spirit outwards to go get them. That's why I like this, the fury in it, as well as even if you fail to kill them in your attack when you lunged at them, the necrosis from the ability happening will linger on them. Like I was trying to say in the lore, like if you survive the zombie like thing touching you, the rotting flesh, you still may die from that disease. This is more along the lines of what I think is happening here. His third ability, Gloom, is kind of like you're draining the life force out of your enemies and giving it to yourself. In lore, some people believed that revenants were able to drain the life force out of their victims, but you know, this is just a speculation because no one's seen anyone survive this to actually know if this was real or not. His fourth ability, Exalted Shadow, is just like, well, if you're a revenant, you could pretty much choose if you want to be in ghost form or in your, you know, physical zombie form. It's your choice, right? But this in itself should be talked about a little bit, because what is that on Sevagoth's shoulder? Is that like a pelt or a puppet or an overcoat? What is that? Because it doesn't really matter what it is, I'm just curious, but if it's a pelt or something like that, it makes sense that the spirit could possess it, and that's why you could see that thing moving around. But if that's just literally the ghost on him, showing that the spirit is within the corpse, this also is cool, and it's both ways makes sense. I'm just curious as to what is it actually. Anyway, moving on to his first ability in his ghost form, Embrace, and you basically just pull your enemy forward like with telekinesis, which I explained earlier. You know, you're a ghost, you're able to move things with like telekinesis, and your spells should work through walls because you're technically a ghost. In fact, you should be able to move through walls in your ghost form as well. Not your zombie form, but your ghost form should. His second ability, Consume, it makes sense. Like when you're able to harness energy like that to create an orb or whatever, for whatever purpose you could do it, you could do it just like taking energy from anything, or as well as you could drain energy from living creatures. So this still makes sense. All of these moves are really making sense, as well as kind of like the description behind it, which is kind of like you rip out enemies' souls. Well, if you understand how to get back in your body, you probably understand the rules of life and death, and you can manipulate that even in another person's, if you have enough energy to do so. You have enough spiritual knowledge, as well as the lingering effect that would happen, which is the radiation effect. I kind of see it as like, that is necrotic. That is the decay of cells. That is the lingering effect that's supposed to happen in lore if you manage to survive the physical entity of Revenant. That the lingering decay on you, that plague that you're infected with, still gets you. His third ability in his shadow form, which is Death's Harvest, is pretty much what I said earlier in lore. Like, even if you're not his target, but you're in proximity, you may become his target. I just get hexed, cursed, or jinxed just being in proximity, and then you get hit with this death mark as well, or decapitated by him swinging a sword or whatever. Talking about lore. This is what may happen if you're in proximity of a wraith trying to get his target, or you're in the way of a wraith trying to get his target. Why do I keep saying wraith? I meant to say a revenant. His fourth ability in his shadow form, in his ghost form, is to return back to the corpse, to jump back in his body. All in all, this is all very Revenant. This is all making very good sense to lore. I approve. I feel like I've missed so much, or there's so much more I could talk about, but this pretty much wraps up Sevagoth, I believe. So that's about it for now, guys. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time.